If you are hearing this right now, it means we're covering some graphic topics in today's episode.
This is a true crime and paranormal podcast. There's going to be some murder. Mike's hot.
Man's not hot, but your mic's hot.
Oh, never gets cold. Okay.
But it's cold in here.
It's freezing in here.
It is.
All right. I'm going.
Do it. Let's go.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Archive, Murder, Mystery, and All Around Mayhem.
Again.
Over
there is Bayli.
Over there's Ben. It takes us a million tries just to say
Yeah.
these like 3 sentences.
But eventually we'll get it and you'll know who we are.
Yeah. We're both students at George Fox University. I'm a graphic designer.
I am Cinematic Arts.
And this is our podcast. I like to talk about murder. Love all things murder.
I like to mess with audio equipment and then, edit the garbage that I record.
And he likes history. There's that too.
Yes. No, I do really enjoy the history aspect of looking into this stuff.
Yeah. So this is our podcast where we're going to talk about true crime, paranormal stuff because I like ghosts and Ben doesn't believe in ghosts. So we'll change that. And some history stuff because it's fun. All right. I'm going to need you to buckle in. First of all, it's a long one.
Okay.
Second of all, it's a good one. Let me
right.
tell you. All right. This week I'm doing Poveglia Island, which, okay, I'm the true queen. I'm the true I'm the true crime queen out of the two of us. I love true crime. But this week we flipped it. So I'm doing the paranormal history stuff and you're doing the true crime, which interesting for the first episode. Interesting take, but we'll do it. I'm covering this week Poveglia Island. It's an island in Italy.
I think I saw pictures of it.
Yeah?
You showed me some pictures.
Oh, yeah. I sent you Snapchats of the Ghost Adventures episode that I was watching purely for research purposes, obviously.
Yeah, I bet that was awesome.
So credit where credit's due. I got a lot of this from, obviously, an episode of Ghost Adventures, the most scientific and factual source that we have available to us today. Very reputable. Historicmysteries.com and all that's interesting article, and, of course, Wikipedia. Shout out to Wikipedia. I will never donate, but I use you almost every day. All right. Poveglia is a small island within the Venice Lagoon off the coast of northern Italy, and locals to Venice do not speak of the island, and it's illegal to step foot on its shores without permission of the Italian government, but that doesn't stop people from trying to experience the just extreme levels of paranormal energy that's supposedly within the island. One of these people happens to be our favorite man, Zach Baggins, and we'll get to more about him later. This episode was something else. And
Let's go.
well, okay, I was taking notes while I was watching the episode, and I just have to share with you this highlight. When Zach Baggins was speaking to some of the Italian locals, I wrote, instead of speaking Italian or regular English, he speaks English with a really bad Italian accent. And then I wrote racist ? That's such a Zach Baggins thing to do.
Oh my gosh. Why did he feel that was necessary?
I don't know. It's like, oh, they're not going to understand me if I speak English, but let me throw a bad accent on it. That'll change it.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
He even
So
had the
funny.
hands going, the little Italian hands. This man.
That's awesome.
So the island of Poveglia was first mentioned in print around the 15th century, so it's been inhabited and used by people for a really long time. And people lived on the islands during the decline of the Roman Empire to escape Roman rule and all the other threats, because the islands of the Venice area were just so small and easily defendable that the Romans and the Huns and the Goths just didn't even bother trying to take them. They're like, whatever, you can have your tiny little island, we don't care. And so the people in Poveglia lived peaceful lives until about 1379 during the Chioggia War with Genoa. Officials forced residents off Poveglia to find other places to live in the lagoon, while the government built an octagonal fort and turned Poveglia into an armed military outpost. And the fort's still standing today. It's one of the only buildings left on the island, because a lot of them are old and decrepit. They're from the 1300s, so they're falling
it just
apart.
Looked like a big old concrete structure. Was it concrete though?
It's mostly
Or stone.
stone, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it looks very bare though. It was nothing to it. It was just.
There's a lot of decrepit buildings, at least in the Ghost Adventures episode. There's a lot of decrepit buildings and a lot of overgrown plants. It looked really cool. It was definitely haunted
Overgrown.
just from looking at it, but
just normal. Just going back to how it's supposed to be.
That's true. It's the Earth's now.
Like they got a gardener just chilling on Poveglia Island, just like,
gardener.
oh man, everything's overgrown right now.
And despite the government's efforts to try and repopulate the island after it was used as a military base, no one wanted to live there. They even tried to get some monks to live there in like the 1500s, and even the monks were like, "No thanks, we're good. You can keep your tiny island."
After the base is there?
Yeah, after the military base was there. But eventually the island did find a use. Don't worry. Poveglia Island became the dumping ground for victims of the bubonic plague.
Oh, thanks.
So the monks really
Once
dodged a
they're dead,
bullet
or
there.
like they're just alive, living there.
Yes.
Oh sheesh.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Oh god.
So the first bubonic plague hit Italy in 1347, and this round of plague is actually what helped the Italians figure out like how the disease worked and spread roughly. I mean, it was still 1347, so diseases were obviously the wrath of God and not science,
Mm-hmm.
But they figured out that disease spreads when sick people are near healthy people. So in Venice, they began throwing the dead bodies into 2 large pits outside the city to keep them away from the larger healthy populations within the city. But those pits, they were filling up quick, right? So they began dumping bodies on 2 other islands in the lagoon. And I actually learned this next fact from the Ghost Adventures episode. It's truly educational. In Venice, you'll find areas called Campo de Morte, which means Plaza of Death. They're these like raised public squares, like these open spaces. You'd see a farmer market or something, and there's just hundreds of dead bodies buried underneath. Like they just put all these bodies in the ground and then put like raised paved stones over the top.
Oh my god.
So it's like a raised public square, Campo de Morte. There's just dead bodies under there. You're just walking on top of dead people.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, so Venice is pretty fucking haunted. Walking on top of dead people, that's gonna make a lot of spirits angry, right? At least I think so.
Oh my gosh. Are they deep in there?
I don't know how deep they are in there, but
If there's a lot of dead bodies, it's probably a big hole, right?
I mean, I would assume so.
Or a bunch of big holes. I don't know.
The one that they showed in the Ghost Adventures episode was like, that was some good square footage. Like you could
Sheesh.
have like a full farmer's market on that square.
Oh my goodness.
Stuff like that.
That's so scary.
It is scary.
Ah!
So watch where you're walking in Venice, really. And Italians in this time also came up with lazarettos. And what's a lazaretto, you might ask? It's not a delicious Italian pastry, as I first thought. It's actually an institution or hospital designed for the quarantine of ill and potentially ill people. So not
as cool as a pastry.
Yeah, not as delicious. And the next big rounds of bubonic plague came in the 1530s and the 1670s. And the other islands, including Poveglia, became primary dumping grounds for the plague victims, both still alive and dead. So if you started showing even just the slightest symptoms of the plague, the government would take you from your family, throw you on a barge with like 100 other people, and take you to Poveglia's lazarettos constructed on the island. You just stay there on the island, like in quarantine for 40 days until you most likely died.
Yeah, you're probably not going to...
Yeah, there's a few
recover
rare
from
cases
that.
like people did recover, but it was like a very rare few. Really, if you just started showing any sort of symptom of the plague, like even just like the slightest, like, oh, I think it might be coming down with the cold. All right, that's it.
Or you
Poveglia for you.
you don't like your neighbor.
You like tell the government, I heard him sniffling the other day. I think he's got to go.
Oh man. Wait, so the institution you're talking about,
Yeah.
were they researching the plague there?
No, well, maybe.
Because that's
I
better
don't
than
know,
just throwing them on
but
an island.
I don't know if they researched there, but it was basically just a hospital for people who were sick, potentially sick, or dying.
Maybe if you're kind of wealthy, they're like, all right, we'll take you to a hospital. And then if you're poor, they're like, all right, there's this island, so
full 40-day paid vacation to this beautiful resort.
yeah.
You just
it is
might
pretty.
die at the end.
It's a pretty area.
It's like Jamaican Sandals, the Sandals Resort.
I guess the island's not pretty, but the surrounding area is pretty.
The island is actually shaped like the Wi-Fi symbol. It has like a really small
Oh,
island,
for real?
another island that's kind of like curved, and then another bigger curved island. It looks like the Wi-Fi symbol.
5G.
Yeah, on Reddit they called it Wi-Fi Island.
That's funny. Poveglia Island.
Poveglia. Unless you're Zach Baggins, then it's Poveglia.
Poveglia.
All the
I said
Italian people
Poveglia.
he tried to talk to looked like they hated him.
I said Poveglia earlier.
Poveglia.
Poveglia.
But
Sheesh.
conditions on the island were just as awful as you'd possibly imagine. And here's a quote from Rocco Benedetti. He's a writer in the 16th century Venice. He said, "The sick lay 3 or 4 in a bed. Workers collected the dead and threw them in the graves all day without a break.
Oh.
Often the dying ones and the ones too sick to move or talk were taken for dead and thrown on the piled corpses."
That's bad. That's
Yeah.
bad.
It's bad. And thousands of bodies were incinerated on the island. Some experts say around 160,000 people were burned
Oh my
on
God.
Poveglia. Could be more, could be less. We have no possible way of knowing. And so many people were burned on the island that in the Ghost Adventures episode, when they went onto the island, they actually got to step foot on the island. There were just human bones laying in the grass, and the dirt was mostly ash. There was so much
Oh,
ash
no.
everywhere. And I was reading in one of the
Holy
articles
crap.
that experts say the soil on Poveglia is upwards like 50% ash, even today,
Oh
like
my
hundreds of
God.
years later.
That's crazy.
Yeah. At one point, there's a scene, Zach is like talking to a historian about all these just like terrible tragedies that happened on the island. And then the next scene, it just cuts to him just chilling in a gondola with one of those plastic like witch doctor's masks, you know, with the beak.
Oh my God.
You know, they would wear in the Middle Ages. He's just like chilling in a gondola. I'm like, are you
Did it
kidding
have, like,
me?
a voiceover?
I wrote in my notes, I was like, this feels disrespectful? Question mark.
It does. I think it is.
It like wasn't even a good witch mask. Like it was plastic. He bought it
Party
off the
City.
street corner and then was like, "Hey, get a shot of me in this."
Check it out. It's just like back then.
Yeah. I'm a doctor. Oh, and then he goes on to say like while they're trying to communicate to spirits, he puts on the mask and he starts in really bad Italian. He goes, "I'm a doctor. Talk to me. I am a doctor." I'm like, you gonna lie to these
God.
ghosts like that?
Yeah, that's terrible. They're like, no, you're not. Plus, the doctors probably didn't help him at all. They're the ones burning the corpses or whatever.
Oh, okay, we'll get to it.
Sheesh.
And so the hospital on Poveglia, oh my God, you got me saying it like the Baggins. On Poveglia.
That's all you. That's all you.
The hospital on Poveglia served as a quarantine area for plague victims until 1800 when it finally closed. But don't worry, the Italian government found another use for Death Island. That's what I'm calling it now. In 1922, the island and all of its buildings were converted into a mental hospital.
Oh God. The worst possible
Like,
new
what's worse
idea
than
for that.
what's worse than an island where they just incinerate people, dead or alive? An island where they experiment on mentally ill people. So rumors spread about the experimentation on patients, just horrible, quote, treatments by just this crazy doctor.
Lobotomies and
said-
stuff, probably.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, worse probably.
Oh.
People said that he would just operate on patients for exploration without anesthesia, and eventually the doctor committed suicide by jumping
my
off the
God.
bell tower of the hospital. And some say he did this to escape accountability for his crimes against all of his patients. Other stories claim that that the tormented souls who suffered on the island haunted him, and his only escape was suicide. And the last version of the story says that someone or some entity actually pushed him off the tower.
Ah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
literally in the Ghost Adventures episode,
Did
I
he
don't
stand
know.
up there?
Well, no, there was no talk about it being an insane asylum really before this point. Zach Baggins just walks up to this random ladder. They don't even say that they're in the hospital building. He just walks up
Okay.
to this random ladder and he goes, there was a crazed doctor here in the early 1900s who would experiment on patients, and he jumped off of this ladder. And I was like, does he know that it was that ladder, or was he just taking a guess there?
No,
And
he
then
can
he
feel it.
proceeded to
He
climb
can feel
up.
the presence,
he
right?
could feel it, yeah, for
Of
sure.
course.
He proceeded to climb up and then yell, "Why did you jump?"
Oh my God. See, this is the type of stuff that doesn't make me more likely to believe, okay? This is what I'm
That
talking
doesn't
about.
make you just so believe in ghosts. Zach Baggins is what gave me my belief in ghosts. Okay.
Makes it more fun.
Yeah.
Unless,
okay,
just
it gets
crushingly
not
depressing.
fun in a minute. Let me tell
Okay.
you. So the mental hospital closed its doors in 1968, and the island has been abandoned ever since, except for the ghost.
Oh my God.
Locals report seeing apparitions on the islands from their boats. So you can't actually go onto the island, but that doesn't stop people from just like cruising by on their boats. And they're typically reported as bright white apparition in areas like the garden or around the hospital. And when the Ghost Adventures team was there, the whole crew said that they had like goosebumps and their hair was standing up. And
Am I thinking of the wrong island? Because what I'm picturing is like really high walls on the outside of the island. Is that
Yeah.
a different place?
yeah,
Okay, well then
Probably.
how do they see into
there's
onto
just
the island?
beaches. You just can't go onto the island, but you can drive around it.
Oh,
on
I was
boats.
thinking it was like high walls on all sides of
No.
the island. 'Cause that's a picture that I saw. But it must be a different island.
There's some walls on the island. A lot of them have fallen down. Like
Okay.
there could have been walls there, and they're just like
Sure.
hundreds of years of age knocked them down. But no, you can like see onto areas of the island. And okay,
Crazy.
they have this little Italian historian like guide showing them around the island, and he won't go into certain buildings with the guys, and then he just says, "Just call me in the morning if you survive after tonight," and just walks out. It's like you're supposed to help him.
Oh
He just said no,
God.
thank you. The Italian guy's my favorite. There was literally just a few times where the Ghost Adventure guys would just be saying something super dramatic and over the top, and the guy would just look into the camera like he was on the episode of The Office, just so unamused.
He's like, yo, I mean, this is nothing to joke about, you guys.
Yeah. He would like say,
call me if you survive.
yeah, he's like, call me
me
if you survive in the morning. And they'd be like, do you want to stay with us overnight? He's just, no.
Did they seem phased by that?
They started laughing, and he was like, he was
He's like,
serious.
nah,
He was
nah.
like, for real.
Yeah.
And they just started laughing. They're like, haha, that's so funny, dude. And he's like, no, you might die. But in like an Italian accent. And so that same historian guide says that like actually the Italian government would drown people off the beaches of Poveglia for
What?
like capital executions. So this place is
Oh
for
my
sure
God.
haunted as hell.
Oh yeah,
They burned plague victims dead and alive. Literally, there was an insane asylum on the island, and the Italian government would drown people off the beaches of Poveglia for like death sentences.
They're just like, okay, this area right here, we're just gonna do
This is where
absolutely
we kill
horrible
people.
shit. Yeah, this is where we kill people.
That's just it's just a map of Italy, and it just says island. This is where we kill people. So as the Ghost Adventure guys are walking around the island, they're getting just a ton of feedback. Technical difficulties. It's the spirits.
Oh,
They don't
All
like
the
us
way
talking about
from
their island.
Poveglia Island.
Poveglia.
Yeah, it's just digital noise.
It's ghosts.
Oh, there it is again.
Well, because you said it was digital noise and not you didn't.
Oh, they
you
got
didn't
mad.
give credit to the ghosts.
I didn't give credit.
And as the Ghost Adventure guys are walking around the island, they're getting a ton of feedback on their EMF detectors. So that's electromagnetic field detector for those of you not versed in paranormal detection devices. Ben,
Yeah, that's
you.
me.
That's for you. It's just a tool that detects like electromagnetic fields, and they're used to supposedly detect the presence of paranormal activity.
I thought it
It's
was
like-
supposed to be like science cannot explain this, but it's like
They're
have
trying to
science
use
explain
science.
this.
Yeah. Well, we don't know for
They say.
sure. Like, there's just natural, like, it's just like a geographic thing is like electromagnetic fields.
Okay, so
But
it's semi legit.
supposedly ghosts raise the level, and you can detect that with an EMF detector.
All right.
Yeah. But the EMF detector readings are off the charts in a ton of areas on the island. They're getting recordings of loud bangs and just random noises coming from areas where no one's at.
Mm-hmm.
And they get a couple recordings that could possibly be words from spirits. Okay. It's kind of a stretch, and I feel like most ghost shows do this, but they're like, oh, did you hear that? It totally said, I'm here. But then they play back the recording, and it sounds like, meow. Like, okay. Okay.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but they got a few recordings that were basically like that. Like, I guess you could say that it was a word.
They've
but
just got, trained hearing.
probably
Like Esper trained hearing.
it'll be like there's a sound that's like, and they're like, "Did you hear that? It just said James 3:16."
It was so clear.
It was so clear. It spoke to me. I want to go ghost hunting. I think it'd be fun. I might poop myself, but
I'm not spending $3,000 on an EMF reader though.
are you looking up the prices right now? Is that how much they cost?
No, I'm not. I
Oh.
just made that up.
I was like, oh my god, they're rich. We should be ghost hunting. Okay, it's all fun and games until you get possessed, though. And the scariest part of the whole episode was when Zach supposedly gets possessed. Like, all the guys are
Oh,
they're walking around these buildings. They have their night vision and everything on.
this
And they
guy's
start
asking
saying
for
like
it.
they're stepping on dead people island.
Yeah.
And all the guys start saying they're like, I don't feel good. They're lightheaded. They feel sick. And Zach starts turning really aggressive and angry. He's yelling at the other guys. He's shoving them. He's just like screaming at everyone. And they have to actually pull him out of the room they're all in to just get him to calm down. And they pause their investigation so Zach can use like holy anointing oil to rid him of whatever spirit took over him. It's pretty
Whoa.
whack. Like
Okay.
okay, I'm not a personal friend of Zach Baggins, but I will say it did look like something in him changed. Like he was perfectly fine, and I'm like, I know this man is not a good actor. Let me do what I want.
Okay.
Like, I know this man ain't no actor, right?
Mhm.
But that was a good performance if he was acting.
Well, everything I've seen of him, like all the clips,
He's goofy.
It's pretty goofy. Yeah.
Yeah. So like he was angry.
He's a
and, like,
performer. I don't know if he's an actor, but he's definitely a performer.
well, he was acting out possessed then. I don't know, man. I
It's
think
kind of scary.
it is pretty scary.
Because it's like, how far is this guy gonna take this?
Well, it's Zach Baggins, so probably
Yeah, kill
pretty,
somebody.
pretty far. I could only really get firsthand paranormal accounts from Ghost Adventures because it's illegal to go onto the island. Obviously, ghost hunters got permission, but otherwise no one else goes onto the island and then posts their proof of paranormal activity because you'll get fined for even stepping foot on the island.
Yeah, there's no like
Yeah.
YouTube channels just doing that.
There were, but like
Oh, really?
there
It's
weren't very
just
good
illegal?
videos. It's illegal.
Or, I mean, they're just doing it illegally.
Yeah, they're just doing it illegally. And like they didn't have night vision, things like that. It was just basically pitch
Oh,
black.
low
It wasn't
tier.
very good. But Ghost Adventures got way more stuff.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's fine because Ghost Adventures is all I
They
need.
got all the gadgets.
I only need Zach Baggins. In 2014, the Italian government tried to auction off the island, but all the deals that they made fell through, and their highest bid for the island was only like $700,000.
Right. I
US.
remember you told me about this part.
Nobody wanted it.
That's so funny.
And in the past couple years, Italian construction crews started to like try and restore some of the buildings, but all construction just stopped and no one knows why. A lot of people speculate that the crews were tormented by the ghosts on the island and that paranormal activity caused them to have to stop. It's actually really eerie. In the Ghost Adventures episodes, you can see like the scaffolding is still up on the buildings. There's still equipment on the island. Like whoever was there just got scared and left mid-build. It's pretty whack.
Well, okay, I have a theory for that.
Okay, what is it?
I mean, if they're not going to be able to sell it, why would they go through the effort of doing anything,
I don't know.
doing any construction on there?
Well, okay. They did end up selling it to one guy, and I think maybe they want to turn it into a museum or something like that.
Oh, right.
But all of the buildings, like they're like it's possible the ceiling could fall on your head. Like those buildings are from the 1300s. They're not stable.
Yeah.
So they're trying to like revamp the whole place a little bit, or at least make it safe for people to go onto the island, at least to like maybe figure out what to do with it, because right now it's like not safe whatsoever to go onto the island. And yeah, that's the
fair.
story of Poveglia Island, or as one historian described it, hell, but in North Italy.
Seriously, that's a lot of bad stuff that's
That's a
happened
lot
there.
of dead people
That's
on
terrible.
one tiny island. I think hold on, let me Google the square mileage of this island because it is small. Probably a mile, like a square mile. Yeah, okay. I couldn't find an exact number for Poveglia, but I want to say it's only like a couple square miles. Like it's not big at all. Most of that is ash. It's an island made entirely out of human ash.
Sheesh. That is so gnarly. The ground's 50% ash.
Yeah, it's still to this day, and they burn bodies like 400 years
crazy.
ago. Whack.
Oh my god.
Yeah. All right, you're up.
That's so crazy. Okay, yes. I am up. So let me switch over to my other
What are you
tab.
talking about this week?
As you know, we are fully into the holiday season, and I'm feeling it.
It is December.
Yeah, so I wanted to cover something that hits close to home.
Santa?
No.
Krampus.
No, murder.
Oh.
But literally close to my home because this place is a 10-minute walk from my house. A dismembered foot was found at a landing that's, just off the Willamette River.
Is it Rogers Landing?
Yeah, Rogers Landing Dock.
Whoa.
It's a popular spot to picnic or boat.
Yeah, I've been kayaking off that.
Yeah, me
off
too.
Rogers Landing.
But yeah, it's an offshoot of the Columbia River, which is the
Mhm.
second largest river on the West Coast.
Hmm.
And that is kind of vital to the story because this dismembered foot, has washed up on the shore, in my hometown. And so we don't know how far it's come from, but it's here. It was here now in 2018.
That's crazy. Nothing happens in Newberg. Nothing
I know.
exciting
Yeah.
happens in Newberg.
This is exciting, but
When was
it's
this?
pretty
What
bad.
year?
2018.
2018.
Mhm, yeah.
What?
2
I was
years
here in
ago.
2018.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
it's
How did I
crazy.
not know about this foot?
I know there was
I would have
not
been all over that.
there was not a lot of media presence of the foot. There was like nothing on Twitter, nothing on Instagram.
Crazy.
There's just a few, I think like 10 news, whatever's covered it. So it wasn't a super huge story, which is crazy and just like really creepy because we don't know where it came from still.
Still. Do
Yeah,
we know
but
who it belonged to?
no,
Whack.
no. November 16, 2018 is the date it was discovered. So somebody went looking in the dumpsters at Rogers Landing, probably just trying to find like bottles and cans.
Yeah.
Instead, they found a shoe
Oh no.
that contained a foot.
Oh, it didn't. Wait. It washed up on the shore, or it was in the dumpster?
So somebody was like picking up trash on the shore,
Yeah.
and then they picked up, a shoe with a foot in it and didn't realize and threw it away. Yeah. So then the person that was looking through the dumpster for cans and bottles,
How do you just
finds it and
accidentally
they're like,
throw
"Oh
away
my
a
God."
foot?
I don't know. That's
Whack.
crazy.
They're like, oh,
I was
nice
thinking
Halloween
that too. I
decorations.
was like, how do you not notice that? Maybe the sock is covering it or something, but
Maybe. It was wearing a sock too,
that's
not
just
just
creepy
a
as
shoe.
hell that you can pick up a foot, like a human foot, and throw it away and not even like know that that's what it was.
Maybe it was whoever chopped it off threw it
Or
away.
maybe they're just like so tired or done with it. They're just like, oh, whatever. I don't care. It's a foot.
They're like, I
Whatever.
don't want to deal with this
Who
tonight.
cares? I don't want to report this. Yeah, somebody forgot to take their foot out of that shoe. The theory is somebody was picking up trash and they threw it away without realizing. That's pretty gross and very well, I don't know. I guess it's likely because what else is that gonna be? Somebody chops off a foot and dumps it in the top of a dumpster.
That's true.
That's not
I guess
a
if you want
great
to
way
get
to
rid
hide
of a
a
body, you should
yeah.
throw it in like water, deep water.
Yeah. Okay, so this foot is thought to be the match for another one that was found months earlier across the river at Champoy Park. And we were just
We
there.
were just there.
Yeah.
We literally saw the river. We walked
Yep.
right along the river.
Yep.
Whack.
Creepy
should've looked
as
for
hell. No, I don't want to do that.
Is it weird that I kind of want to find a dead body?
Yes. I don't want to find a dead body. That's terrible.
Or at least like a piece of one.
No. That's worse. A piece of a body?
I mean, obviously I'd report it. I wouldn't like
Well, of course,
be
yeah.
weird about it.
You're not going to take it home as a souvenir or something.
Well,
Sheesh.
no, I
You like
wouldn't.
report
I
it to
wouldn't
the
do
police
that.
and you're like, but can I take
Can
that?
I keep the
'Cause
shoe
That's
at
cool.
least? Or
Can I take these
They're like-
docs?
no.
But yeah, so
What kind of shoe was it wearing?
Nike running shoe, I think.
Oh my god, I wear Nike running shoes. That could have been me.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay. Okay,
Sheesh.
sometimes people think I'm crazy when I say, oh, we have a true crime comedy podcast. They're like, there's nothing fun about murder. And I'm like, no, we just cope with the awful through laughing.
Because what are we going to do? Sit
Yeah.
here and be like, oh my God.
I'm going to cry into the
body.
microphone right now.
Found. I mean, it sucks.
It sucks,
It really
but
freaking sucks.
that's how I deal with all the trauma in my life. I just laugh it off. My therapist says it's really healthy.
Great.
No,
Great.
it's not.
Oh. I was like, oh, sweet. That's what I do. Okay. Yeah, but the police took all the garbage and they didn't find any other body parts in there. So the foot is the only thing that's there.
2 feet
in
now.
Yeah, the other one was found like on the bank, I guess.
It was the same. It was wearing the same shoe. It was the other
I don't
foot.
think the other one was wearing a shoe, but
It was the other foot.
I mean, it just makes sense that if 2 feet wash up, like right across the river,
I don't know.
probably the same
Could
person.
be two bodies.
It's possible.
Or whoever died had a foot transplant.
But if the police think it's the same, I'm pretty sure it's the same because it
Okay,
must have been like
I
the
guess
same
we'll
size
go with the
of foot.
professional opinion.
Yeah.
It's not as exciting though.
But in that dumpster, I think it's funny because they probably like that's like a popular smoke spot for like high schoolers. So they probably found like a pound's worth of jewels and like plastic bags of weed remnants, I thought
Just
that was
like-
so funny to imagine like them going through that and just being
Oh my
like, "Oh my
gosh.
god, there's like so many Four Loko cans in here."
Just like Swisher wrappers everywhere.
Seriously, yeah. Not that I ever smoked there.
No, we're children of God.
It's weird to think that I've been to these places because I've been I've been to
Yeah.
Rogers Landing and Shampooy Park like so many times. Like
Yeah,
we used to go
same.
running there, Shampooy Park, for cross country, all the time.
No, we've gone kayaking in Rogers Landing. Rogers Landing.
Landing.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like body parts just washing up on the bank right there. That's so freaky. Like that makes me.
Well, especially because it's such a high traffic area, you think somebody would have found it sooner. People are always out at Rogers Landing, even in like the winter time. People still kayak. People still take their boats out. There's a boat
Yeah,
dock
but nobody-
right there.
People don't usually go along the bank, because there's trees all over.
That's true.
Like we
But
don't
people
just
pass
peruse
it in
the
their
bank.
boats.
Yeah,
It's interesting
I think
because it's such a high traffic area that it
people
wasn't
in
found
boats
sooner.
tend to stay towards the middle.
Yeah.
Or just kind of lanes or whatever. They don't really go close to the sides. So it probably was either a kayaker that was picking up trash or because you can't really walk along the
Yeah, you
bank
can't really
on
walk
Rogers
along that
Landing
bank.
side. So I was trying to think about how, or
Hmm.
unless it was like right where the boat dock is,
Oh gosh.
like that concrete part right there, like it's
That's
just
crazy.
floating right there. And then,
Oh.
yeah, I'm still like, how do you not know there's a foot in there? If there's a whole
Yeah.
foot in a shoe,
Picked it up and they're like, oh,
like seriously,
like this is definitely this goes to a mannequin.
it's heavy.
This
N-
was a
they're like-
mannequin.
I know how much a shoe
it's
weighs.
never a mannequin.
A shoe with a foot in it does not weigh the same as a shoe without a foot in it, right?
I guess. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, like how? Ah!
That is crazy. It was probably one of those teenagers high out of their minds.
Oh my! They're like,
This is your
yo,
brain
you
on
see this
drugs."
too? Oh This is your brain on drugs. You pick up a human foot without realizing it.
Throw it away. Well, at least they were cleaning up the beaches.
Yeah. They're like, we can't report this. We're high. We're 14. We've been smoking weed. What do we do?
Throw it away.
I mean, that would be really sad if that actually
Oh
happened.
my god, that would. Oh my
That would
god.
be horrible.
Did we
just
just solve
scar
it?
some kids?
Just solve the mystery.
Okay. Okay.
You're like, I'm moving on.
I am. So these aren't the only body parts found in the area, but I mean, okay, not Newberg. I mean, I'm sure there is body parts found in Newberg, but
I think we should go back to Shampoo and just look for more dismembered.
I'm down to go to Shampooy. I mean, looking is not.
Like we
high
can
on
go
my priority
running, but
list,
I don't
but-
know about the feet.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, but the next part of the story is 30 miles from Newberg and 74 years ago. Something fishy went down in Clackamas County. The story starts with
That's a
three.
bad pun. Using fishy for a river murder.
I know. I did that very on purpose. Okay, so this story starts with three very unlucky Oregonians who spot a bag floating in the Willamette River.
Oh my god.
It was
Okay, is it bad that that's kind of my dream? Like I want to find a dead body.
yeah, that's terrible.
I mean,
That wouldn't ruin your day, right there.
I mean,
We're about to discuss what's
No.
in this bag, but I think you can already assume.
yeah. Whenever I see it, okay, you know how they have like prisoners clean up trash on the side of the highway and like they leave the garbage bags there to be picked up later.
Yeah.
I genuinely think every
Oh,
time I
no.
pass one, I'm
Oh,
like,
no.
that's a dead body. That's not trash, and that's a dead body.
What kind of terrible murderer
And every time I
just
pass
leaves
one,
their
I kind
body
of
there? He's like, I'll just leave
people
this for
have been
someone else.
found
I'm
on the
so
side of the
lazy."
road.
But
Well, 'cause
in a
every time I
trash
pass,
bag,
I
cut
kind
up?
of like.
What's the use of cutting someone up and just leaving them on the side of the road?
I mean,
You're going only halfway. You're like,
you
go
could
the
just leave
full
them on
way.
the side
Come
of the
on.
road. Okay, whenever I pass them, like when I'm driving in the car,
why am I
like,
telling serial killers to hide their bodies?
I like
better?
stare down the bags. I'm like, can I make out the shape of a body?
Ah! That's so crazy. That's
What can I say?
hilarious. Next time I'm driving with you, I'm gonna.
not
If
like
we see
other
a bag,
girls.
I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna side eye you. Okay.
It's always a dead body. It's never trash.
What's the statistic? Like, is it like 30%? That there's a
Solid
human
50,
thumb
50.
in every plastic bag.
Oh God, what?
I just completely made that up. You believe
Yeah.
that? You believe that for a second? 30% of the time, every plastic bag has a
I mean, I
severed
knew you
thumb
were
in it.
joking, but I thought you were just gonna say dead body, and you just went specifically for the thumb.
Oh, it made it
Caught
more
me off
believable.
guard.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh my god,
Okay,
I'm so
finish your
cold.
case. Oh, it's
So
freezing in here.
cold. Okay. So this bag was near the shore, and they took the effort to open it. And it took effort because the murderer had used tape, rope, and telephone wire
Oh.
to hold the burlap
You
shut.
think at that point they'd be like, oh, maybe somebody doesn't want us to look inside here. Maybe we
Uh-huh.
should let it go.
Yeah, so inside was a freaking torso and some women's clothes
It's crazy.
and weights to weigh it down and try to.
Yeah.
But obviously that didn't
Obviously
work.
they didn't work.
Yeah,
Just the torso,
yeah, just the torso in this one.
but all of the clothes.
Some of the clothes.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia page right now, and there's a photo that shows all of the victims' clothing and the burlap in which the remains were discovered. And there's like a jacket, there's a skirt, there's a top, there's like her underwear, like petticoat underneath. That's crazy. And then
Jeez.
there was only a torso.
Yeah, in this
Crazy.
one. In this one.
Oh god, in
Because
this
there
one.
will be more.
Oh no.
Yeah. So they call this the Wisdom Light murder because the torso was found, and this is the first body part that was found of this.
Jane Doe.
Assuming it's one person, this is the first piece of this person that was found.
Huh.
But they found the torso near a moorage called the Wisdom Light moorage, which is like where you park boats or whatever.
Oh yeah. Like a garage, but for boats.
Yeah.
Moorage. That's not how
Oh.
you say that.
No, that's no way.
We got you good.
I was like, oh, that's really that's BS.
Just like the thumbs.
That's funny. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm shivering. It's so cold.
You gotta finish. You gotta finish the case.
Yeah. It's like when you try to do it fast because you pee, or because you gotta pee.
What?
I just messed up.
Because you pee?
'Cause you pee. I pissed myself. I gotta better finish my case fast. No, because when you have to pee, you're always like, oh, I gotta.
It's a sense of urgency.
Yeah, sense
That's
of
why I
urgency.
hold it in before we record.
That's so funny.
So I have a sense of urgency
It's
to get through my case.
Ridiculous.
But it works.
Oh my god. Okay. More body parts are found the next day.
The next day.
The very next day. Some fishermen found a similarly wrapped package. Inside this one, inside this precious gift from Santa was a right thigh and just hands. Oh, no, sorry. Just arms with no hands.
Just arms, no hands,
And a right thigh.
how do they know it's the right one? I don't want to know.
I mean, I don't know, just the way it's shaped.
Fair enough. This was found in the Clackamas River, or the Willamette River in Clackamas?
This one didn't,
Oh, Willamette Falls, Wikipedia says.
oh, okay. I didn't actually add that part.
That's so creepy.
But yeah, so 2 months later, in July, the left thigh is found. Then in October, the head is finally discovered.
Oh.
And usually the head is like what really connects it to a person. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, now we can identify this person, not by like DNA or whatever, but
But
I don't know if they do like
people can
teeth stuff
recognize
yet,
him.
but definitely recognizing was the way that they would have done it at this time.
Did they ever identify the victim?
No. But that'll be a large part of what I'm about to get into, because there are some theories that have been put together linking it to I can't remember, it's like 3 or 4 specific people.
Yeah, this sounds a lot like the Thames torso murders,
Oh yeah?
where they just found body parts of different women. Most of the time they didn't find their heads.
That's the one with like a bajillion.
Yeah,
Pieces
like
of
80 something
parts
body
everywhere.
parts. Yeah, there's just a guy going around. It was in the same time as Jack the Ripper, so obviously it's not the same guy. But it's just severed body parts all around London.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You'd think with all these wrappings like tape and wire and the weights that it would
Mhm.
work, but nope. They got to the surface. So I'm guessing the hands and feet are just, at the bottom of the river somewhere.
Yeah, or he kept them.
Well, probably keep the head, right?
It depends.
I don't know.
Killers keep different things. Some people even just like take pictures of their victims. Some people take like locks of hair. Some people keep body parts
Or blood slides.
or blood slides.
Dexter.
We love Dexter. Different killers take different trophies.
That's fair. They could fancy the hands
Maybe
or
he's
the
a
feet.
foot guy.
Oh, foot guy. Yeah, so these last 2 were only wrapped in clothes and newspapers.
Huh.
So that'd be the left thigh and the head.
That's interesting because that's different
Yeah.
from the first one.
I know
I
that.
wonder
I
why
thought that
he
was kind of
changed.
weird that it was like kind of
Yeah, maybe he was in a hurry.
not as good of a wrap as before. I don't know. Maybe he ran out of bags or something.
Oh,
Newspapers,
darn.
I guess.
Here's my last sack on the torso.
Okay, so the body showed signs of torture.
Oh.
So there's like burn marks on her torso. The investigators think that a blowtorch was used on her.
Oh, okay. Now I feel bad about making jokes.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Oh.
But the actual cause of death was just blunt force trauma to her head.
Ugh.
Like we said, no missing person was ever matched to the victim. But the site that I was looking at for like the theories was portlandcrime.blogspot.com. And it goes over like which ones are most likely to be the victim and why. And some of which are theorized by the police at the time,
Mm.
or the investigators at the time, and some are theorized more by this site.
Huh.
There is really not much evidence on the killer themselves, so
Mhm.
that's not like a major part of it at all. The dump site of the right thigh and arms, there were footprints left of a size 10 men's shoes leading away from like where the package was found, because this one was found on the bank. This one wasn't floating,
Yeah.
or floating super close to the bank.
Yeah.
And then this is a weird part of it. A bag of rabbit feed was found on the nearby trail, and the bag was like probably one of the bags used to
Oh, it was
wrap
burlap?
up the stuff. Yeah. So that's
That's-
weird.
This is leaving a lot of clues for somebody who wants to get away with murder.
Yeah, but it really didn't go anywhere. Another piece of information on the killer that didn't really pan out is a man who called into the local police claiming he knew where the woman had been killed or where she'd been dismembered. But this guy didn't really know anything. He was just looking for attention, so that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But anyway, this article goes over the possible victims, and it was cool to read them because as I was reading, certain facts would like jump out at me, and I was like, ooh, that's kind of like, that makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
I can see where they're going with this. Anna Schrader was a private investigator in Portland who had like a rocky relationship with a lieutenant in the Portland police.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's kind of where the motivation
Okay.
stems from.
Yeah.
It doesn't elaborate on the relationship, but I'm assuming there was some domestic violence, and it kind of led me to believe that
It's
it
also
was talking
1940.
about.
When wasn't there domestic violence?
It was kind of connecting it to, she didn't like some of the things the department was doing, like the police department, because she's a private investigator, and she's having a relationship with this lieutenant, and she's like, I don't like the way you're doing that.
Sounds like
and
a really
so,
good TV show.
I know, right? That's what I was thinking. The difference in opinion is kind of the motivation for the hypothesis of her being the victim, and also, the lieutenant being the
murder.
perpetrator. Yeah, she apparently had a lot of inside info on the police department, and who knows, maybe she was gonna like
Oh shoot.
go public with some crazy stuff. It's pretty juicy for a possible victim.
That's
I
true.
would
That's
say.
true.
So while that would explain her disappearance and the case being unsolved, because the police aren't gonna turn their own guy in probably,
Yeah.
or at least they're less likely to. That's a scary thought. In the week after the discovery of the torso, which is the first part discovered, many people wrote letters to the police because they're worried about their loved ones. They're like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, could it be
I haven't seen Sally
Sally?
in 3 weeks.
Why did we both go to Sally?
I don't know. That was good though.
That's cool.
We have connection.
Wow.
We're connected.
Oh my God, did Sally just speak to us through?
Sally spoke to us. It wasn't digital noise.
Sally
It
died
was
in
Sally
this
and
RV.
She's here.
Yeah.
This Arby's. Sally died in this Arby's.
I said RV.
Oh.
Sheesh.
Somebody would die in an Arby's just from eating that food.
What do you think's in the meat?
Foots,
Yeah, feet
and running shoes.
feetsies.
Little toesies. That McRib, it's just little toesies.
Oh my God, I'm so cold. That McRib from Arby's, made of toes.
Was it roast beef? I don't know what Arby's
Roast
makes.
feet. I don't either. I've never been there.
Waffle
Never
fries.
will.
No, they make curly fries. Arby's has curly fries.
Oh, okay. That's a little tempting, but nah, I'm good. These people writing to the police department are just desperately hoping that it wasn't their,
Yeah.
their person. Oh my God, I'm shivering so hard. Okay.
Get through it.
Yeah. So most of these were ruled out by the markings on the body not matching the missing person. But some stuck around. So one letter came in concerning Bessie Carol Nevins, and this letter was different. 1 second.
But on my fake Italian accent.
Sally, speak to
Sally,
us.
speak to us. I'm a doctor.
What's she saying?
I should. It's not going to work. I don't have the mask.
Shh. She's speaking.
Might just be my tummy rumbling.
Tumby rumbly.
It'd be a burrito.
It is so freaking cold. Okay. Yes,
Sally
Sally?
says so too.
Before Bessie Carol Nevins goes missing, and before the torso is discovered, Mrs. Wilson gets a call in Los Angeles at her home, and there's a person saying they're a cousin, and they're taking Bessie Carol Nevins to Oregon to work on a ranch. And she was like, "We don't have any cousins in Oregon. That's weird."
No.
Yeah. So she didn't really. She tried to like reach out again and contact that person, but didn't get to him. So that's sketch. Yeah.
That's the murder. I'm
Yeah.
saying it right now. That guy
Definitely.
killed whoever this woman is.
I don't know if that's the dismembered person, but that guy definitely did something terrible to this lady.
Probably.
So prior to this call, a friend of Nevin's husband had contacted Mrs. Wilson requesting her sister's address.
Oh.
So this guy's requesting Bessie Carol Nevins' address, and I don't know if they give it to him or not. They probably did, because that's probably how he picked her up.
Yeah.
And then later, like I said, he calls and says, or well, I'm thinking he's the one calling saying, "Oh, hey, I'm a cousin, taking this girl to Oregon." It just makes sense.
We don't have any cousins.
So when he's requesting her sister's address, he also is like, her estranged husband is interested in sending an allotment to her, which is also weird because Nevins' husband was serving in the Navy as a pharmacist mate and had never paid his wife at all since breaking from her in 1937. So it's not likely that her husband would want to send money to her.
Yeah.
Or anything like that, because he hadn't done that in like forever. So it's really sketchy. And a pharmacist mate is like a petty officer who works under like medical officers.
A pharmacist friend.
like a mate.
Yeah.
Two pharmacists go up on the ark. Okay. Yeah, I actually looked into that a little bit because it's pretty cool.
That is cool.
They just like, when they dock, they just like run out and like aid the people on the battlefield or whatever.
Oh,
pretty dope.
Okay, that's cool.
Or they bring a ship full of them to a hospital and like they dispatch them. It's pretty dope.
That's cool.
Yeah, so this stranger is calling in to notify her sister that he's going with her to Oregon. More like he's taking her to Oregon, because I really doubt it's consensual.
This is not consensual.
Yeah. "Don't worry, Mrs. Wilson. I'll get her there in one piece." I wanted more of a laugh from that. Come on, that shit was funny.
That was good. That was good. I'm getting it now. It's registering. I've got it. It's good.
I was like, that was funny. Why didn't you laugh at that? Okay. Okay, so she cried. Well, she probably did. But she tried to contact the man that took her sister, right? But she got nothing. But does her description match the body parts found? Maybe. We don't know. Kind of.
We found her head, which includes her face, but you can't be sure.
Well, they said kind of it does. Because her description was given to the police department before the head was even discovered. Nevins had gray hair. It could be a match because the head that they found had gray hair.
Oh.
So we don't actually know if it's a match because they can't like fax over a picture of the head.
So it's like an older woman. I don't know why in my head I was picturing like a 20-year-old.
I mean, I don't know if it's an older woman. You can have gray hair and not be.
That's true. As I sit here
old,
with silver hair, but
did they do hair dye in?
Yeah, you could bleach your hair in the 1940s.
Okay.
Your hair would basically fall out, but you could bleach it. How do you think Marilyn Monroe had that blonde hair?
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was not naturally blonde.
There's another missing person who fits the description, or at least mostly fits the description. Ava Linder Pankow. So she went missing as her new house burned down right after her messy divorce, which is
oh my god,
those
triple
three
whammy.
Things right there. Going missing
House
right after your
down.
divorce and your house burns down.
That's it. 3 strikes.
That's something definitely very bad happened to Ava Linder Pankow. So a friend of Ava's spoke up soon after overhearing the ex-husband threaten to kill Ava.
Oh gosh.
Which is good. Good for that friend. Then the ex disappeared.
It's always the husband.
So the husband just disappears once the friend speaks up. I don't know who she speaks up to. It doesn't say if it's like the police or to Ava herself or whatever. But yeah. So this person was a possible victim until they discovered the head. Because Ava had a glass eye.
Oh.
And the dismembered head had no eyes.
Oh.
So it's a little harder to identify.
Oh, okay. Okay. That was a fact. Okay.
I didn't provide that earlier.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was thinking it's just a head. Like, it would be so easy to identify. Well, if they don't have eyeballs, there's probably a lot of other things wrong with this face because it's been sitting in the
True,
water.
true.
I didn't think about that.
Pretty gross. Yeah, so
Glass eye is
that's
pretty cool,
that's
though.
like really interesting. Like she had a glass eye, so it's like you have no way of
Yeah.
knowing because the hair matches, the facial features could match.
Yeah, but
But
if
if
the
it's
face
got
is
no
all
eyes and
bloated,
there's no glass eye,
from
you
the
can't-
water too.
Yeah, but the doctor doing the autopsy, I don't know how he assumes this. He said they were confident that the victim had 2 functioning eyes while alive. I don't
You can
know
tell
how.
that though. Like if you have your eye taken out, they like cauterize back there and things like that, so your skin is like scarred.
Okay, that's fair. I didn't really buy that at first, but I guess that makes sense. If it,
Yeah, you'd have some
would
sort of
look
surgical
different.
mark to remove your eye.
yeah, that's true. So that's 3, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
3 possible victims.
Well,
Sorry, I'm
2,
very cold right
if
now.
you're good. Well, it's more like 2 possible victims if that girl had a glass eye, but they could tell that the woman who was dismembered had 2 functioning eyes, so it's probably not her.
Okay, so it's probably just the first and the second, not Ava.
Poor Ava though, that triple whammy.
Yeah,
Going
seriously. I
missing,
know.
divorce, house burned down.
I know.
It's the husband. It's always the
I'm
husband.
thinking.
It sounds like
I'm
Betsy.
thinking it was
I
the
don't know.
one. Yeah, I think it's the one from Los Angeles to Oregon,
Yeah,
because that is
it sounds like Betsy.
really.
I
But the
do like the
investigator
idea of
one
the
is
first
interesting
one,
too.
the Anna Schrader,
Mm-hmm.
just because it sounds like it'd make a really good TV show.
For sure, it totally would. But yeah, those are my 3 that I wanted to look into for this. I just thought it was really interesting because I found the feet in Newberg, my
Yeah.
hometown, dismembered feet.
And yeah,
That's
this-
ridiculous.
This isn't the first
And
time there's
then-
been dismembered feet in the area.
Yeah, and then right.
Well, feet, dismembered body parts.
That's what I was looking, because I was like, I wonder what else has been found in this area. So of course I had to expand the radius a little bit.
That is crazy.
But 30 miles, that's not far. That's not that far for an entire body dismembered, minus the hands and feet, I guess, being found. But yeah, that's
you
ridiculous.
have to wonder though too, because maybe it doesn't even seem like a crime of passion or something, or like a husband killing the wife, because to dismember a body, that's got to take a lot more.
That's premeditated for sure, right?
Either premeditated, but also like dismembering a body is like such a personal act. Like you have to really want to kill somebody to go ahead and dismember their body afterwards. Usually like when people like kill someone on accident, they're like, oh shit, they just hide the body whole. They don't take the time to dismember it, because could you imagine dismembering a body? That'd be absolutely disgusting to a regular
yeah.
person like you and me.
Yeah, but that's it for mine.
Oh,
Yeah.
crazy.
I loved your case. That was
Okay.
great.
Yeah, yours is
Really
good.
interesting.
Oh, I'm going to have nightmares. I'm never going to be able to go to Rogers Landing again. I can't believe they didn't identify the one in like 2018. You would
I
think
know,
of like
I
DNA
know.
and things
Yeah.
like that.
And nothing else was found, just the 2 feet. Super
Yeah.
creepy. Like, oh
Happy
my God,
days.
is like a whole rest of the body just on the bottom of the
Probably.
river there?
Maybe.
In my
Maybe it was somebody
hometown?
who drowned. People drown
Just
and
with dismembered feet? No.
they could come detached from the body.
Okay, that's fair. It didn't say. I'm thinking of like clean cut, like in Dexter, but it didn't actually say that.
Yeah,
so
I
that's
mean,
fair.
If a body is
That's
like
fair.
so waterlogged, eventually it gets bloated, and then like it starts to disintegrate,
Yeah,
it could detach.
I totally didn't even think about that. Yeah, I just assumed that it had been cut. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. Sorry,
Heck yeah.
my voice is weird because I'm shivering right now.
Well, I'm
so
pulling up
cold.
my happy story to end on a good
I
note.
really should have brought more. Oh, you got a happy story?
I do. Well,
Nice.
it's kind of happy. I mean, it's mostly just super cool.
Okay. All right. Is it animals?
No,
Are there animals in this?
it has to do with more murder, but like good stuff about murder.
Okay. Because usually when I need something comforting, I look at, just like cats doing
Cute
stupid
pictures of
stuff.
animals.
I follow this one page called Sinful Cats, and it's just like cats doing human things they're not supposed to do.
I love that. Oh
I'm
my
so
god, my phone is so
cold.
cold. Okay. The thing that we do here on Archive, we tell our sad stories. My people were burned alive. Your people were hacked apart. We
Your
need
people
to
were
end on
all sorts of everything.
Yeah, we need to end on a happy note. So every episode we say our cases, and then we find something good to reflect on at the end of the show. So actually, okay, I'm super excited about this one. Do you know about the Zodiac Killer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Great
you know how
movie.
he that is a good movie. Love Robert Downey Jr. and Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yep.
But you know how he sent these like cryptic letters
Yeah,
that
super
were
cool.
code? After 51 years, his longest letter to the San Francisco Chronicle has been cracked.
Oh, what? No way.
Yes! Okay. I'm just going to read you directly from the article from the San Francisco Chronicle. It said, the solution to what's known as the 340 cipher, one of the most vexing mysteries of the Zodiac Killer's murderous saga, has been found by a code-breaking team from the United States, Australia, and Belgium.
Oh, that's awesome.
The cipher, sent in a letter to the Chronicle in November 1969, has been puzzling authorities and amateur sleuths since it arrived 51 years ago. Investigators hoped the Zodiac, who killed 5 people in the Bay Area in 1968 and 1969, would reveal his name in one of his many ciphers, but there's no such name in the 340. It's so cool. It literally took 51 years and teams of people
Wow.
to crack this code. But here, do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
The 340 cipher? All right, so according to the team that cracked it, the 340 cipher reads,
Whoa.
Okay. Oh.
1 second. Sally's talking to us.
Here's the 340 cipher, and according to the team of code crackers, this is what it says. I hope you're having lots of fun in trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show, which brings up a point about me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner, because I now have enough slaves to work for me where everyone else has nothing when they reach the paradise, so they are afraid of death. I am not afraid because I know that my new life will be an easy one in paradise death.
Oh
So
my
it's like broken
God.
English, and like he spells paradise wrong like 6 times in this. Like every time he says paradise, it's spelled wrong. And actually the very first code ever cracked from the Zodiac, he sent a short ciphered code to the San Francisco Chronicle. And actually a husband and wife school teacher duo cracked the first one.
Yeah.
So
That's so cool.
51 years though.
Damn.
That's got to be one hard code to crack.
Seriously.
I mean, I don't know how much closer that this makes them to catching the Zodiac. I mean, it was 1968 and 1969. That guy's probably dead by now. The actual Zodiac Killer is probably dead by now. But I don't know. Hopefully this gets them one step closer to at least figuring out who this guy was.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, like, is he actually delusional and believes that he kills people to have slaves in the afterlife, or is he leading on the police to be like,
dude,
I just want you to think I'm crazy, you know?
Jeez.
I don't know, but that's super cool that they've cracked it.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, that's my cool case to end this off, and on a good note. Well, this has been episode 1 of Archive the Relaunch. Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah,
we'll see you again next week.
This.
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you like to listen to your favorite podcasts. Give us a rate, a review, follow us if you can. It really helps us out.
Check us out on Instagram at ArchivePod and Twitter at ArchiveThePod.
Thanks for listening.
See you soon for more murder.
What's the square mileage of Poveglia?
Bessie goes missing.
Before Bessie Nevins goes missing. That's a tongue twister.
No, it's not. Well, it is because I'm cold, but it's none of the
Just
doesn't
take
rhyme
that
or
blanket
anything.
right there. Is that really dampening the sound that
It's
much?
probably gross.
I'm gonna give you this one, but then I'd be cold.
Okay.
Not a joke.
I mean, I assumed that, but okay. Oh yeah, by the way, we are in a trailer of my roommate's little sister. She like bought this trailer and then restored it and made it into like a cute little Airbnb. It's really nice. But there's no heating right now.
Yeah, there's no
so
heating,
it's very
so we're
cold.
frozen.
Sally, shut up. Come on.
You can't be mean to her. Sally, will you
All
please
right.
stop? I need to read my thing.
Okay, that was actually like this
Be
sound.
gone,
I don't know
Our
why, but now
Father
it
who
does
art in
seem
heaven.
more like talking.
hallowed be thy name. Well, and then I can't say this is a true crime podcast. There's gonna be some murder.